Ready?
Yeah,
Let's do it. Yeah. This is the song, bro. Let me turn that up a little bit. Let me vibe with this. Yeah. What's up, people? Welcome back to the Dreams to Reality podcast. I'm your host, Annabelle Rodriguez. And today, people, we got a really special guest. You're in for a treat, and I'm really digging this song. I'm vibing with it. It's chill. It's a chill mood. This fits you, bro. From the first time I met you, you're like a chill guy, so I think this will fit you good.
Appreciate it.
People, today we got a professional videographer. He's a 6-year veteran in the game, specializing in music videos. He's worked with some major artists. He's actually the main videographer for the game. And he's worked with artists such as Little Boosie, Fatboy SSE, Too Short, Ray J, Big Sean, Sugar Free, Lil Wayne, Kanye West, you name it. This guy's worked with all the major stars and many more to come. So we are really excited to go down his journey, find his insight and wisdom on how he got to the point where he's at. Please help me welcome the very talented Tezz.
Appreciate it.
Welcome, brother. welcome to the Dreams to Reality podcast. How's your day going, man?
Man, everything's great.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. What have you been up to today, man?
Today, I came from a video shoot earlier out in Long Beach.
What were you shooting?
I was on set doing drone shots.
Oh, okay. I think I saw a little.
So I was doing drone shots for my boy. His name's Kai3.
Oh,
out in
okay.
Long Beach. Yeah, him and DW got a song. DW Flame.
Yeah,
they got a song. It's coming out soon.
Are these new up and coming artists, or they're like they've been around for a while?
I wouldn't say they're up and coming because I know DW's. He got something going with Nick Cannon right now.
Oh, okay. So
and
he's pretty established.
Yeah, Kai3 just recently got signed to Death Row.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with Snoop Dogg in there.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen you in a while. I think the last time I met you was actually the first time I met you was at the High Tone album release party. What venue was that? That was at I can't remember. It was in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first time I met you, and I was shooting some photos that day and just some behind the scenes stuff, and I saw you shooting that day, and I introduced myself to you, and then I went on your Instagram. I was like, damn, this fool works with all kinds of people. I was like, he's all over the place. Yeah. So I was really interested in getting to know you a little bit more, which is why I reached out to you, and I said, hey man, would you be interested in coming on the podcast? I would love to hear your story. So thank you for coming on. So I mean, tell me a little bit. Where'd you grow up? Are you from Southern California?
Yeah, I am actually. I was born in Orange County.
Oh, okay.
In Anaheim.
Real gangster, bro.
Man. But so I feel like, I don't know, I was born in Anaheim, but I never really lived in Anaheim.
Okay.
So it was crazy. I was all over the place. I was in Cerritos, Bellflower, Norwalk, you name it.
Yeah.
Just all around those little cities.
Okay.
Yeah, moving back and forth.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're a little nomad going from city to city?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's where I'm so freely, I'm always by myself.
Yeah.
But I'm really good at adapting with certain environments.
Would you consider yourself like an introvert, or are you kind of more of an outgoing person?
What's the in between? I'm that.
You're a chameleon, bro.
Yeah, I'm
That's
that.
me too. No, to be honest, I consider myself an introvert, but I can be extroverted if I need to. But,
so I like being inside.
Yeah.
And the only time I really come outside is if I'm booked.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much a lot.
All the time.
So when I'm booked, I just pop out and I'll do what I gotta do. I'll mingle with everybody, and then I'll just go straight home.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. You don't drink or party or anything, right?
Nah, yeah.
I was like, hey, what do you want to drink? You're like, I'm good with water. I was like, me too. Wink, wink. No, just kidding.
Yeah, so I don't know. I drink a little bit and I smoke a little bit, but really when I'm editing, that's when I'll probably smoke a little bit.
Yeah,
just like a lock in.
Bro, I tell people I get more creative, when I smoke a little bit.
Yeah,
and
it just laptop just starts calling my name, and I just really want to just get to work for some reason.
Yeah. Is it easy for you to focus and sit down and edit for a really long time, or do you have to take a lot of breaks? What's your process like?
Sometimes it depends on the project. Like if it's something I really wanted to shoot and really was excited about, then I'll just get right on it.
Yeah.
And I can knock it out. I can stay on for hours.
Yeah.
And I'll stay locked in for hours. But other times, you know, there's those days where you're just like, I don't really feel like editing right now, or like you could throw a little something on, or like the music, like maybe you took the job because you needed the money.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not something you're into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, man. That's actually a real important thing, you know, for people that are out there trying to, you know, follow their passion and pursue things that they really want to do. It's a key indicator that you're on the right path when you get lost in your project. You get lost in your passion, and you spend hours, and the next thing you're like, damn, I've been doing this shit for a while, and it didn't feel that way. Right. You know, like you said, I was locked in, and I've realized, you know, that when I'm doing certain things that I'm super passionate about, that I'm really enjoying, I could do that shit all day long. No, exactly. But when you're doing something you hate, you're like,
yeah, exactly. I don't want to do this. That's why I honestly stopped taking like every job, because I used to just take whatever, like, whatever.
Hey, sometimes you got to, bro.
Got you. Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like one time I took this job. This is when I first started. I took this job. It was like for $300. At the time, I was charging like $100.
Yeah.
So I took the job.
You're like, damn, I'm rich.
The song, I was like, oh, okay, I'm moving up. The song wasn't all that, and the dude, he was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't a good song.
Yeah.
So we knocked it out, shot it. I'm like, cool. He paid me. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And then I get home, I sit down to edit, and you got to play the song over and over when you're editing.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I'm like, it started turning into torture for me. Like, no cap, I really like.
Oh my God!
I kind of took like 3-4 months just on his one.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, dude.
It was bad.
You know, they use and what is that, in Guantanamo Bay, when they wanted to torture the terrorists?
I heard
they would play like some freaking music for them over and over. That was you, bro. You're like,
I was like
going crazy and shit.
No. Yeah, and then ever since then, I was like, okay, I'm just not in it. I'm not in it for the money, obviously.
Yeah.
Even though it's good money, I can't take every job.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important to realize what you like, what you don't like when you're getting into something. Like we were talking about it before. Like I have my videography, photography business. You know, I do pretty much anything right now too. Like I'll take it, you know, but I'm starting to realize like, oh man, I really like doing this, or like, I don't like doing this.
Right.
Like this is good. This is not good. You kind of have to go. There's like relationships, bro. Like I know I don't want to date this kind of chick. No.
Right. Yeah. No. Right.
You know? Same thing with work. It's like, I don't want to take this kind of work anymore.
Right.
So it is a process of almost trial and error, and just,
it comes with growing.
Yeah. You know. So tell me a little bit about, you know, how you got into this industry, and, you know, how you got to the point where you're at. Were you always, you know, kind of like a techie guy and into photography, or did it just land on your lap, or, you know, what's your beginnings like?
So I grew up playing video games.
You're a gamer.
So I was kind of like, I was gaming.
What's your game, bro?
I was always tech savvy. Like, I want Call of Duty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just got 2K too.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 28.
28?
Okay. Yeah, I'm 28.
I'm 34. I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike, like first-person shooter on the computer.
I used to go to the computer cafe and play that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, people be getting shot and shit over that thing.
Yeah, that was actually in Bellflower. That's funny.
Yeah.
I wasn't even old enough to really cross the street. My mom never really let me cross the street because I was so young. But for the computer cafe, I had to.
Yeah.
Just to go play Counter-Strike with my friends.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Headshot.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So you started off as a gamer.
Yeah. So I was really like, and then I got into like the iPods when the iPods came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the iPod with the camera.
I don't even remember that.
Like
they had an iPod with a camera?
It was like a first touch.
Oh, wow.
Touch pod with the face cam.
So before the iPhone with the camera, there was an
iPod with the camera.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know, a funny story, dude? Do you remember the Zune?
Yeah.
It was like Microsoft's version of the iPod.
Yeah.
I thought I was one of those cool kids that be different. You know, everybody had an iPod, and I was like, I'm going to get a Zune. This big ass ugly brick and shit. Yeah. Nobody bought a Zune. I was like, man, this stupid thing. Like, I still have it somewhere, but that's just funny.
I remember that. That's funny. But yeah, so I had the iPod and it had a camera. And then I would just run around the city with me and my cousins. And they were just hilarious to me. Even growing up, we were just those cousins that would just laugh at everything.
Yeah.
Like everybody look at us like, what's wrong with them?
Yeah.
So when I got that iPod, I was just like recording everything we were doing. So this
Yeah.
is before I even knew a cameraman was like a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a profession.
Yeah.
So I'm just recording us. We're like 13, 14, 15, 16, getting older and older.
Yeah.
Hanging out. And he rapped. I wanted to rap at first too.
Yeah.
So it was like me and him rapping.
Mm-hmm.
But then I came up with a song, like a verse. It wasn't even a whole song. I wrote a verse, and I had like a 6-month writer's block after that. So I'm like, all right, maybe
maybe I'm not a rap artist.
maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not. Let me put this down.
You write one phrase and then you're like, shit, writer's block.
Yeah, and I was like, let me pick up the basketball. So I started playing basketball, and that was cool. It was fun.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2" now.
Oh yeah, you're pretty tall.
Yeah. My jump shot was where it was at.
There we go.
Yeah. And then basketball didn't like. I ended up moving because I lived in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you got into videography, photography. How'd you get into the the line of work that you're successful in now?
Well, so my cousin, he's a rapper.
Yeah.
He had this music video shoot, and the cameraman was like, I don't know how I'm gonna edit this.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, just give us the footage and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So
how old were you?
I was 18, 19 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 19 at the time. And I was really just his hype man at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't have a role or anything in the group, nothing. I'm just a hype man.
Yeah. You're part of the posse.
Yeah.
The guys that just show up in the back and shit.
Yeah. And,
I've always wanted to be the guy that makes the little noises. Whoop.
Oh, the back, the ad libs. Yeah.
I'm great at that shit, bro.
Yeah, so we were like, all right, we'll just get the footage back and then figure it out. And then my buddy, his name is Drew, he had a laptop.
Yeah.
And he had Final Cut on it.
Final Cut Pro?
Yeah, Final Cut Pro on the laptop. And then I was like, you know what? I'll try to edit it. Like, why not? I started shooting on the iPod. I might as well try to edit something now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just started editing, and then I stayed up till like 7 a.m.
Shit.
Just editing, working on his video.
Yeah.
And it came out cool. Like what I thought was cool at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I was excited. I was like pumped. I was like, oh wow, this is really dope.
Fire.
Yeah. So I started off editing for real.
So before you started like really shooting professionally, you were first editing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started editing and I just fell in love with that.
Yeah.
That was just dope to me. Like just creating something out of nothing.
Yeah, that process.
Just having a bunch of footage and just putting it together and telling a little story with it.
Yeah.
That's what I fell in love with.
Yeah.
So I was up to like 7 a.m. just knocking that out. And then I was just excited. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. We need to keep going. Like,
yeah.
Let's get a camera.
Yeah.
So my boy Drew, he had a good job with his parents. He ended up funding like the camera. He ended up buying cameras.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, he was going.
You had a sponsor, bro.
Yeah, so Drew gets the camera. I do the editing, and then boom, we set it up like that.
Yeah.
We do a couple concerts, little festivals here and there. We just start picking up gigs for $50, $100.
Yeah.
Turns out Drew doesn't like shooting.
Yeah.
He doesn't even like using the camera. I'm like, oh wow, okay, cool. That's cool though. I'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
So I started playing with the camera, learning different settings on it.
Yeah.
Really.
Did you how did you study? Did you take a course? Did you go on YouTube?
I really was just on YouTube.
YouTube?
I just YouTubed everything I knew.
Have you ever taken any professional classes or courses or anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so everything is self-taught and pretty much YouTube University.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I've learned so much shit from YouTube, bro. I tell people all the time, like, there's so much information out there. Whatever you're trying to do, your job is to find how to do it and how to become the best at that.
Facts.
You know, if you truly have a passion for something, like you started doing the editing and like you fell in love with it and you were up all night doing it. I'm sure that as you were editing, you were like watching YouTube videos and then going back and then doing it. And you're like, shit, I'm stuck here. What am I going to do? Like, your job is to figure out a solution to your problems. You know, so let's say there's someone out there that really likes, I don't know, you could be anything. Like, I really want to, sell plants, Well, you better learn about plants. You better learn about how to do them, how to tell them how to do this, everything, So the first step is finding what you're passionate about. And once you find that passion, it's about, diving deep into it, getting almost obsessed with that subject, and then mastering it. So
Exactly.
I feel like if anyone that's self-taught, either one, they were naturally born gifted with like all these skills, or two, they put in a shitload of work to find out how to get good at that.
Right.
And editing is one of those things where you have to learn the technical side, but then you have to have a creative side. And the creative side is where, I call you an artist, because I understand the process of, anybody can pick up a camera and record shit.
Right.
But can you tell a story? Can you create visuals that are appealing and that can create emotions in people?
Exactly.
That's just not easy to do.
No,
And there's lighting, there's angles, there's all kinds of stuff that people don't really know that goes into a production, into a video, into any type of either it's marketing or music video or TV show, or there's a lot that goes behind it.
There's a whole lot. Yep.
And there's usually teams of people. So for someone that does it all themselves, like I give respect, because I do it myself. And I know that it's a process, and you have to have some kind of creativity to do that. So when you sit down with an artist, they give you their vision. This is what I want it to feel like. This is what I want it to do. This is my style. And then your job is to create that, with your equipment, Yeah. So like if a doctor like, hey man, I feel this, I feel that, like, well, this is what you have wrong and this is what I need to do. Now I got to, do surgery or whatever. Yeah. You're a freaking surgeon, bro. Yeah, right. So that's freaking cool. All right. So you studied on YouTube on how to edit, how to shoot the camera. You first started off with your cousin, right? Shooting for him. And would you say you were good right off the bat, or did it take you a while? Like that first video you did, if you go back and look at it now, do you think it's still good?
No. I just no.
Okay.
It's cool. It's good enough, but it wasn't like wow.
Okay.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Because like what I studied, before I even did my first video, I kind of studied a bunch of music videos.
Yeah.
And that's when the questions came up. Like I see a music video I kind of watched it differently. I'm like, oh, how did he do that effect? Oh, how did he turn into 3 people at once?
Yeah.
So I started Googling those questions, YouTubing those questions.
Yeah.
And then I ended up trying something with my friend who does music as well. And we spent like 3 days shooting one video.
Yeah.
Just doing different type of things, different techniques, going to different locations. Like we went from the Costco parking lot in Long Beach all the way out to some trees in Malibu. Just for the scene.
For the one scene.
Yeah, for the scenery. Just for the one little 30-second shoot. Like,
yeah.
And that came together pretty well.
Were you getting paid at this time?
No. Not for that.
Okay.
That was the practice mode, the grind mode, where you're just like taking anything.
Yeah.
And then outsiders, I would charge like $50. I was scared to even charge $100 at the time. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like,
it's an interesting transition from, when you first start off something and you don't have that belief system in yourself, and you don't really value yourself as much. Right. Because I'm sure people would have paid you a lot more if you believed in yourself and in your product. But when you first start something off, I felt that as well. I'm like, dang, I don't feel like right charging them. Like, right. I'm still freaking Googling shit. I'm still YouTubing shit.
Exactly.
But at one point you get to where you're like, I know what the hell I'm doing. And I know what I'm worth. Yeah. And you can charge a lot more at that point.
And you're just comfortable at that point.
Yeah. You're like, no more $50.
Yeah, it went from damn, did I charge them too high to damn, is this too low?
Yeah.
Like,
I should have charged them more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you so at this point you're still kind of developing and growing in your craft. What would you say is like the kind of the breaking point when you started to get some momentum? Right. Did you come across someone that really like taught you a lot of stuff, or was it like just serendipity, or what happened?
So I learned from I started studying like local videographers around me.
Yeah.
And seeing what they do. Then I found out the Sony was the thing, because the camera I started was the Canon EOS 70D.
Okay.
So I had the Canon. That's what we started off with.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Canons were they're good at videos, but people usually use them for pictures.
Yeah, for photography. Yeah.
Yeah, and they give you like this warm type of.
Yeah, it's different colors and
Uh-huh.
different.
And then
I personally like the Canon because I do a lot of photography. But yeah, you're right. There's different cameras for different things.
It's just that mirrorless. Because I think Canon's a DSLR.
They have mirrorless as well now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I have two cameras right now. One of them's mirrorless, that EOS R, and then the other one over there, it's a DSLR.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so I found out about the Sonys and the different lenses that there are. And then that's when I started digging in deep on cameras and settings. And because at the time I was just going off of what looks good.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's not too bright. It's not too dark. Right. This looks good. I didn't know what shutter speed was. I didn't know what ISO was.
Dang.
I didn't know what the f-stop was.
Yeah.
So I was just like fidgeting with the numbers and just till it looked
whatever looks good.
Yeah. And then so yeah, when I picked up the Sony, Drew ended up buying a Sony when we found that out. Mm-hmm. So we found out, okay, Sony's the route to go for videos. Now we just got to buy a Sony. Yeah. So he saved up all his money, bought a Sony, and it's actually the same Sony that I used to this day. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Because when we all went our different ways, he was like, I see you're really serious about it, bro. Mm-hmm. So you can just keep the camera.
Oh, shoot. He gave it to you?
Yeah. That's why every chance I get, I always bring up Drew. Yeah. That's my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Because he used to let me edit on his laptop till I got my own.
Yeah.
And people don't know this. On my first laptop, for my birthday, he was like, I'll go half with you, bro, on a laptop, on a MacBook. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. That's amazing. I'm going to get my own laptop. Because I used to always bug him for his laptop. I'll be like, bro, can I use your laptop? It'd be all, I was like, can I borrow it? Can I take it home with me? So I think he just got tired of me asking for his laptop. So he's like, look, bro, I'm going to go half with you on your laptop. And then from there, we can go crazy. I was like, all right, bet. So we got the laptop, got the Sony, and then from there I just started looking up different lenses and what looked good, what looked like cinematic, the most cinematic. Because that's my style. I like cinematic style.
Right.
I'm not really into like the effects and stuff are cool, but I really I'd rather tap into your emotions. Yeah. And make you feel something out of this video than just have a bunch of crazy flashes and bangs and shakes and
every music video that I see, you can kind of tell people's style, whether it's cinematic or it's just those crazy freaking just like all these movements or like all effects or just garbage sometimes. But that's cool that you start to over time develop what's your style. So your style, you would say, is more like a cinematic kind of look. Okay. So now you're working with like some major artists, you're working with the game, with all these different people. How did you get to that point? Did people start referring you? You started to get more artists under your belt and more, videos. What led you to get to the point where you're working with A-class celebrities?
So it actually all started at the top of this year. So in January.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it's recent that
you've
been working.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you've been working with them for like a while.
No. Yeah. So how it all started was I was actually at the High Tone shoot with him, Too Short.
That's where I met you, bro.
No, not the show. One. Yeah.
It's the one High Tone had. I think I remember now. Yeah.
This was like last year in summer, like October, low key.
Yeah, where was it at? Was it like in?
It was at in West Covina Hills.
Yeah. Like a bunch of people showed up and stuff. Yeah, I think I remember. I didn't go, but I remember him promoting that.
Yeah. So we were on set of that shoot, and I ended up meeting my boy Jamil. And Jamil is the game's brother.
Oh, okay.
But he was on set doing BTS photos.
Yeah.
So I just seen him with the camera. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? What's up?
Yeah.
And then we just linked, chopped it up. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then we went our own ways.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to January of this year, I ended up moving to North Hollywood. And then I tapped back in with him. I was like, what's good, bro? If you ever need anything like BTS or whatever, just let me know. And I'll pull up. He's like, okay, bet. I'm doing this shoot for my merchandise. Always good.
Yeah.
You could pull up to that and shoot behind the scenes. I was like, oh, okay, for sure. So I pulled up to that. And it was just off the strength. Like, it wasn't like, oh, you got to pay me or nothing. Yeah. It was just off. I'm trying to connect with you, bro. Like, you
Yeah.
seem cool. So I
Yeah.
just want to get to know you. He's like, okay, yeah, pull up. So I pulled up to the shoot, got some dope BTS. And while I was there, that's when he told me, like, yeah, since you pulled up, bro, you can come with me to the studio. Like, my brother raps. Like,
yeah, who's your brother?
he's like, yeah,
my brother raps. That's all he said.
He was like, yeah, my brother's in the studio. He told me he was the game's brother, like back at the shoot.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you knew who his brother was.
Yeah.
Right,
so
cool.
he's like, but I didn't know he was working on the album at the time.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, pull it to the studio, bro. I was like, oh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Bet. I was just like, I played it off cool, like, all right, cool. Yeah, for sure.
No big deal.
I'll do this. Yeah. Then I'm like on the way home, like, oh shit, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I don't want to mess this up. I charged everything.
Yeah.
Cleared off all my memory cards.
Let me make sure I got my batteries. Why isn't my camera working? Like, you gotta take the lens cap off. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, that night we pulled up to the studio and he made it real easy for me, like real cool for me.
Mm-hmm.
He made it feel really comfortable. And that's what was dope. He introduced me like, yo, this is Tezz.
Yeah.
He's like a fire cameraman. He's like one of the best I know.
Yeah. He edified you to his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he kind of just introduced me to everybody and had me feel real comfortable. He told me, don't let my camera stop recording for anything.
Yeah.
Just always record. Just
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, just keep recording. And I was like, okay, for sure. And you're not really used to that, being around like people in the industry, or because some people don't like cameras.
Yeah.
Especially in the workplace, like while they're working on the album. Like,
yeah. They're comfortable being on camera. And you're like, this is different.
Yeah. So that's like a real big shout out to him.
Yeah. I'm
forever grateful for that. And that's kind of where it all started.
That's crazy.
All those late night studio sessions.
So at that time, were they paying you for you being there, or was it just like you're just, grinding it out, still trying to show your talent, or how did that lead, from you just shooting some BTS and now you're the main videographer?
Yeah, it was really just the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It was just networking.
Yeah.
Because the game, he's so well known. He had people from Jermaine Dupri to Blast, Tyga, just all different type of people. 2 Chainz, Moneybagg Yo, Kanye, like literally everybody from the whole industry was kind of like coming to the studio. Yeah, all in one swoop. Yeah. So
you get to start to network with all these different people.
Yeah, it was like a crash course on everybody, like at the same time. Like it was crazy. Yeah. But it was dope. Like you see all the respect he gets from everybody. And yeah, it was just a dope experience.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, what I notice is, we're always 1 or 2 people away from being exposed to someone that can change your life drastically in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. And when you're pursuing a passion, you start to attract certain people into your life that will either benefit you or be your downfall. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of guard yourself against who you allow into your life and who you don't. Mm-hmm. Like you met this Jamil guy right away, you felt the connection. He was, super supportive. He was edifying you. He wasn't taking advantage of you. He saw that you were giving. And so he's like, all right, he's giving, so I'm gonna give back to him. Right. There's certain laws in this world that I don't care who you are, you can't fight them. Mm-hmm. Gravity, you can't fight it. It's a law. Right. And there's the law of giving, there's a law of receiving. And you first must give before you receive. Mm-hmm. So you're out there, you're grinding, you're putting in your effort, you're showing people your talent and your skills, and you're doing it in a state where you're not expecting anything, mm-hmm. but that the work that you're doing is gonna pay you back in the future. Right. So even when you're not making money, and this is interesting because everyone that I interview has the same thing. Like the last guy I interviewed, my buddy Art Martinez, he makes like 1.4 million a year and shit. And at one point he wasn't making that, but he told me like, he's like, I knew it was temporary. He's like, I knew that at one point I wouldn't be like this, and I wouldn't be driving this piece of shit car. I'll be driving the car that I want. Right.
You don't know exactly. Yeah. You don't know
how it's going to happen.
You don't know. Yeah, exactly.
You don't know how it's going to happen or when exactly it's going to happen, but like deep inside you, like it's coming, mm-hmm. It's a momentum buildup. And the way that you build momentum is with extreme action, man. You got to put in a lot of work. And the problem that I see with a lot of people is that they want that. They want to be successful. They want to attract the right people, but they're not putting in the work and they're not giving, Right. So how do you expect to just, do a little bit of work and then and then stop, and then, you know, do a little bit of work and then stop. Like, you want to lose some weight, you go to the gym once a week. Like, you're not going to get in shape. You're not going to accomplish anything. You want to be a professional videographer, but you're not studying your skill. You're not out there. You're not promoting yourself. You're not marketing. You're not networking. There's things that you have to do to get to where you're at. And I don't believe so much in luck. I believe you create your own luck, you know, and you create your luck by a lot of ways, you know, the thoughts that you think, the information that you put in your mind, the people you surround yourself with, the music you listen to, everything that you do, the food, the water that you're drinking. Imagine you showed up to the shooting, you're all fucked up, you're all drunk and high and shit, and they're telling you don't put your camera down, and you're like, fuck, you know, like you get tired. So you have to be in the right state of mind, and everything is in a state of mind. You know, so I know that sometimes we don't even know why things happen, but when we take a step back and we look at the big picture, we're like, dang, you know, I did that, and I put in my effort to get to that point. You know, so I see you as a person that's, you know, on the right trajectory as far as where you're going and what you're trying to do. So let's talk about your goals, man. What are you trying to accomplish? What's like the long-term play for you?
Well, yeah, I definitely want to be one of the great music video directors.
Okay.
Kind of like up there with Benny Boom.
Hell yeah.
And Cole Bennett.
Hell yeah.
Just from them.
Have you met them?
I met Benny Boom.
That's cool.
Yeah, Benny Boom is real cool. He's real cool. I actually got his number and everything. So
That's awesome.
He's super dope.
Well, hey, bro, let me help you out.
No, for real. Like, I want to be I got some things I want to, you know.
Yeah.
Work out with him.
Yeah, and the same thing that I do when I meet someone that's successful in what I want to do. I'm trying to pick their brain. I'm trying to, you know, find out their thought process. I'm trying to find out where did they get the information that they have, you know, anything, because they're like roadmaps, you know, like let's say I'm trying to get to wherever and I've never been there before. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I've never been to that location. Right. Well, you need a freaking map, man. You need to know how to get there, and you need to know there's going to be certain hurdles, there's going to be certain, you know, things. And there's people that have been there. And the reason why I have this podcast is to help anyone that's listening, you know, connect with that roadmap. You know, there's people that want to do what you do. They just don't know how to get there, you know, and hopefully by them listening to your story, they can gain some insight on what they need to do. Right. You know, so I know that no matter what you're doing, there's always going to be, you know, hurdles, there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be, you know, things that are difficult. What would you say was like the hardest part of, you know, getting to where you're at? Or have you faced any adversity or hard times on your journey?
No, thankfully I haven't faced any adversity yet.
It's coming, bro.
I'm already knowing, and I'm trying to get out of there before it happens. Like, I'm trying to get 100,000 before any problems start happening.
There you go.
So I can fix it.
You know what? Quick. There's something that's interesting is not all your problems are going to be financial.
Right.
You know?
No,
there's a lot of people that are very successful when it comes to, you know, wealth as far as financially. But there's other problems, you know, there's health problems, there's relationship problems, there's, you know, mental health problems, people that suffer with all kinds of, you know, anxiety, depression, and all kinds of stuff. And sometimes it's not always money. You know, you might have everything as far as money goes, but you know, if your mom dies, you're
no, yeah, of course. Like, I'd say the biggest thing that's probably happened to me, like as far as like that made me super like sad or like made me feel some type of way, was my dad passing away.
Oh wow.
And he actually passed away in 2015. Okay. So he passed away before I was even a cameraman or before I even thought about it. He even
saw you.
Yeah. So it never really affected me on my videographer journey. Yeah. But like as far as life, that was like my biggest down. Like,
how did he pass away? I'm sorry for your loss as well.
Oh no, yeah, it's cool. I mean, he so he had an infection in his leg, and he was gonna get his leg amputated. Yeah. So while he was doing the surgery, he ended up losing too much blood. Dang. Yeah. So he died of blood loss.
Dang. Yeah. So on the hospital bed.
Yeah.
Getting surgery.
Yeah.
That's horrible, man.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How old were you at that time?
I was 18.
18. Would you say you're pretty close to your father?
Yeah, that's who I was living in San Diego with. So my parents split up when I was around like 6. I want to say 6.
Yeah. So you lived
That's
with?
why I was bouncing around a lot.
Oh,
So I was
okay.
living here and there every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then my dad had he had kidney problems
Okay.
and he had to be on dialysis.
Yeah.
So the best doctors for kidneys were in San Diego.
Okay.
So that's when he ended up moving out to San Diego.
Yeah.
He had to do a surgery out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward, I was a sophomore in high school, and I wasn't really going to class. I was hanging out with the older kids, so
Yeah.
we would just go to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't really like do anything bad. We
Yeah.
just wouldn't go to school.
Yeah.
We just go to the mall,
Just hang
instead
out.
of going to school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, she ended up calling my school. They weren't really on top of it.
Yeah.
She had to call them and find out like, oh yeah, he hasn't really been coming to school. And she was like, what? She tried to send me to military school.
Yeah.
I tried that. It was cool, but I wasn't really getting like the full high school experience I wanted. Like I wanted to play basketball. They didn't have a basketball team.
Yeah.
It was just strictly just military.
Yeah.
It was cool though. Like I had fun. It was
Yeah.
it was cool, but eventually I was just like
I'm done with this.
Yeah, honestly, this was like the last straw right here. This girl, she moved in. This is still my sophomore year too. This all happened in sophomore year.
Yeah.
So my sophomore year, first 2 semesters, I went to Norwalk High.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Okay. So this all happened my high school year. So freshman year, I went to Norwalk High. I was hanging out with juniors and seniors, and we would just be ditching school. We'd like go to the mall. We wouldn't do anything bad like smoke or anything. We just end up not going to school and going to the mall. And then my mom calls the school, finds out. So my sophomore year, she ends up sending me out to this military school. So I tried military school for 2 semesters. In between 1 and 2,
Yeah.
they do this thing where you get promoted. It's like some students get promoted, other students don't. They stay where they're at.
Yeah.
And now what comes with promotions is you get to tell other kids to do push-ups. Like if you feel like they're doing something bad in class, you can stop the class and be like, I want him to do push-ups.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So we're in
you
math
have the
class.
power, bro.
Yeah, I didn't have the power. This girl did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I just feel like she was out to get me. I don't know. She's like, Miss Johnson, I feel like he's talking too much. I want him to do 15 push-ups right now. I'm like, I'm not doing push-ups.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not
Are
doing
you tripping?
push-ups. Yeah. She's like, the teacher's like on her side. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. I'm not doing push-ups. Like, I'm not going to do push-ups.
Yeah.
And the teacher's like, I'm going to have to call the master sergeant in here if you don't do them. Because we didn't have principals. We had master sergeants.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, call him. Like, so they called him. And they're drill instructors from the actual Marines.
Oh, shoot. So you came in like
so they're really like
gung-ho.
Yeah, they're really like
He's like, you're not going to do 15, you're going to do 50.
Yeah, he took me outside.
Yeah.
And then as I was walking outside, I'll never forget it. My boy was like, man, that's messed up. He wasn't even doing anything. He was like, do you want to come too? And I was like, yeah, I'll go too, whatever. So he came out with me and we ended up going outside. And he had
was
us
down.
Yeah, he had us running to the wall and back, doing that little thing because everything was like real physical.
Yeah.
We had to do little sprints to the wall and back, and then I started like lightly jogging, and that's when he was like yelling at me like, "You don't have to be here if you don't really want to.
Like,
this isn't a scared straight program. This is like only if you want to be here. Like you're not willed to be. Like you're not forced to be here or anything." Yeah. And I was like, he's like, "Do you want to be here?" And I was like, being like a little teenager, like,
all rebellious.
Yeah, I was like, nah. And then he's like, all right, come to the office. So I go to the office. The assistant's there, like they're talking their talk. Oh yeah, you're gonna get even sent off to even worse military school than this. You thought this was great. Like they just started talking about me. I'm like,
that's
man,
funny.
Get me out of here. So they tell my mom to pick me up. She came and got me. And then she's like, yeah, I can't do this. Like, you got to go live with your dad.
Yeah.
So she's like, this is the middle of my sophomore year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, you got to go live with your dad. So I ended up getting on the train, and then I go to live with my dad. And I haven't seen him for about 5 years since.
Yeah.
So this is my first time seeing him in like 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got this little, not resentment or like whatever, but I tried to play that role like you weren't there for me.
Yeah.
Like, so I had that little chip on
I
my
mean,
shoulder. But it wasn't really like
yeah.
being young, you took it like that. But like as you get older, you start realizing like real life problems, real life situations, and like you start understanding more. You don't really hold that grudge or whatever.
That resentment.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a kid, I mean, I'm sure you had that, not seen him in 5 years. Like, where you been?
Yeah, that type.
Now you trying to tell me what to do?
Yeah, like, and he was really strict. Like, he's not strict, but he was really on it, like on top of it.
Yeah.
He didn't want no bullshit. Like, he was really straightforward.
Yeah.
Not an asshole, but like, you know, that straightforward, real blunt, real like, not here for the fun and games.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I lived with my dad. This was in 2010.
Yeah. So you were with him for 5 years?
Yeah, I was with him for 5 years out there. Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's crazy, man. So once he passed away, I'm sure that affected you. Then you came back with your mom at that point?
Yeah, so I came back and I ended up moving with my cousin when I was doing the rapping.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that I was growing up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up moving with him. I was living with my mom, but I would be at his house like all the time.
Yeah.
So I'd be sleeping over there. So I ended up moving in there with him.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's funny. Like,
we were having fun.
Yeah.
Like,
you were enjoying your time.
Yeah. Fresh out of high school.
Yeah. Did you go to college or anything?
I went to community college for a year.
Or were you studying or?
This was in San Diego too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went for business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What'd you want to do before knowing that you wanted to do videography? What do you think?
I wanted to go to the NBA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was really big on basketball.
Yeah.
But my grades weren't there. I was always like 2.0.
Yeah.
Or like 1.9. 2.0 is
you're
yes, eligible. Yeah, 2.0 you're eligible.
You're like 1.9, you're like fuck.
1.9 is like, oh man. It was 1 year where I had a 2.0.
Yeah.
But my citizenship grades were like a 1.9.
Oh,
so
okay.
That threw me off. Yeah.
Dang.
I wasn't bad, but I was like, I don't know. I always say I was ahead of my time.
How so?
Because I would be in class. I would really just talk with teachers like as if we were cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that's such a not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think it's respectful.
Yeah.
But I wasn't being disrespectful. I was just talking to you like a regular.
Yeah.
Like you were just one of my homies. And that's not cool. Don't do that. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was just always like just cool with the older. I was like being around older people and like being just cool with older people. I don't know, but I'm still immature too. Not like immature, but there's still growth. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, growth never ends. Once you stop growing, then you get stagnant and then you die.
Right.
It's important to realize that, we're all going to die one day. And in order for us to truly be happy, we have to constantly try to evolve and grow and study and be better. Mm-hmm. Because if you stop at one point, then what's the point? You know, like even if you get to if you ever meet people that obviously you've met all these big stars, they're always trying to do more. They always want more. They want to do more. They want to be more. They want to, because maybe they don't even understand it on a conscious level, but unconsciously they know, like, for me to be fulfilled and happy, I need more. I need to constantly accomplish more. Like, have you ever bought like something brand new and you're like, man, this is awesome. Like a brand new car, you buy the new car and you're like, man, I love how I feel driving this thing. Like, you're going, take the rooftop down. But if you're in that same car a year later, you don't get that same feeling.
No,
you're like,
oh
man, I want something new, that new feeling. And that's with anything. The novelty of accomplishing more and reaching for more and doing for more will bring you joy. So the opposite of that is if you're not growing, if you're stagnant, or even if you're going backwards. That's where you get freaking like bummed out or depressed, and it's kind of a double-edged sword sometimes, because you'll see people that maybe make it big one time and then they never accomplish that again. And then they're always living in their glory days. Like, oh, I used to do this, or I used to do that. People call them has-beens or one-timers because they just do one thing one time. And those people are not happy. If you ever meet them, they're usually pretty bitter and, not very exciting people to be around,
Right.
because they're talking about like, oh man, this happened to me, that happened to me. They become victims to the world or victims to life. And I know I don't want to be that guy.
No,
I know
never.
I want to be someone that's, fulfilled, happy, positive, giving out, good vibes to the world.
100%.
In order to do that, you have to be that guy that's constantly going after more and constantly trying to improve and constantly trying to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And, I like to associate myself with people that are on that same track,
Mm-hmm.
Because you are the people you surround yourself with,
Right.
So I'm sure that everyone that's around the circle of, artists like these or people that are, going somewhere have that same mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone is not on that same frame, usually they'll get cut off. They'll get cut off or they'll do something stupid to get themselves kicked out.
Yeah.
So being consciously aware of that is crucial to your success.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know you're on that trajectory, and I know that's where you're kind of going.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the tips and advice that you give to maybe a young videographer, a young artist, a young editor that wants to get to the point where they're working consistently with some major artists?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the key things that you've observed and noticed from working with these people that you can say like, hey, I'd probably recommend this for someone that's trying to get down this track?
Well, honestly, I would recommend them just keeping that good energy, always bringing something to the table, not really expecting anything back in return.
Yeah.
Don't always expect something back, like money. Don't always expect. Just do something out of like the kindness of your heart, and that'll always come back.
Yeah.
Full, tenfold.
Yeah.
For sure. Just always stay positive. Keep the energy good, and just be a good person to everybody.
Yeah.
Just keep good energy, and the energy will return.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a huge lesson.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, cause man, I've been blessed. Like, cause I had no idea this was gonna happen. Like, all this happened this year, and I had no idea what was gonna happen, what was gonna be next. I just knew something was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's not done. I know something's still gonna happen. Something's gonna keep happening.
Yeah.
Cause like one of my goals is to win a VMA.
Okay.
That's a Video Music Award.
Yeah.
And Benny Boom just won Music Video of the Year this year.
What was the music video?
It was Nicki Minaj and Little Baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got a music video.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was dope. And it was like I was just with him like 2 weeks before that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like I'm that close, but I still feel like I'm still getting started.
Yeah.
Like I'm still at day one.
Yeah.
That's how I take it every day.
Yeah, it's interesting because whenever you hit a certain milestone, there's still another step. You know, so you're kind of always, or me anyways, I'm always feeling like I'm starting over because I accomplished a small goal and I'm like, well, my goals are freaking huge.
Right.
So in order to get there, I'm like, shit, I'm barely getting started.
Right. Like I got people telling me, oh, you made it. Oh, you're on. Oh, you're this, you're that. I'm like, man.
I'm like, I'm just getting started.
I feel like I just got started.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm just barely in the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for that, I'm forever grateful for my brothers like Jamil, my boy Drew, the one that bought the camera and the laptop. There's people like that just help me on my journey.
Yeah. Yeah. These people that come into your life at the right time, you know, they're like your guardian angel sometimes, you know, because sometimes you need a certain person and they just, boom, they pop up. And, you know, they bless you in a lot of different ways. And it doesn't always have to be something physical. It could be something they just tell you the right words when you need them. You know, have you ever thought of quitting what you're doing? Or has it been something that you just been like, nah, this is me?
There was a point where I ended up moving to Murrieta for like a year, or not even a year, for a couple months.
Yeah.
I was out there with my boy, and it was like the middle of nowhere. I don't know if anybody knows where Murrieta is.
Yeah.
Kind of
I
like
know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, it's like in the middle of nowhere. And my boy, his dad owned a construction company.
Okay.
And what they would do is hang drywall.
Mm-hmm.
So I was out there with him.
Hanging
Like,
drywall.
yeah, you can come work with me, man. I was like, all right, bet, whatever.
Yeah.
It's good money. So I put the camera down for a little bit,
and
I just started hanging drywall.
Yeah.
And I was like, we were waking up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
to go to Diamond Bar. and we be there till about 2 in the afternoon, just hanging drywall.
Yeah. Sounds exciting.
Still framing.
Okay.
Yeah, still framing, hanging drywall.
Yeah.
And man, it was cool because whatever I do, I like to get into it.
Yeah.
That's how I was at the military school. I wasn't like, oh man, I don't want to be here. Like,
Yeah.
I'll like work with it. I'll get into it.
Yeah.
Until all right, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
All right, this is not helping me get to where I really want to go.
Right.
So I'm done here. I got to get out of here. Boom. So back with the drywall, I was into it. Like, it was fun. It was cool. It was like,
yeah.
The only thing I didn't like was waking up at 4 a.m. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's like the craziest hours to wake up. Like I could do 5 a.m.
You're like, about 4?
But 4 is like when you like really in that deep sleep.
Yeah.
That's like when you really slip off into that deep sleep. And it's like your alarm goes off. You're like, oh. That's when you're like, if you hit 5 minutes turn into 30 minutes quick.
Yeah. You can't hit that snooze button at that time. Huh?
Yeah.
You're like, I've been sleeping for 4 hours now. It's 8 o'clock.
It's like, whoa. So yeah, but
yeah, respect to all the construction workers.
No, for real, man.
It's a grind, man, and you know, a lot of my friends do construction. They're, you know, electricians.
Yeah, no, it was great. It's roofing. A great thing, yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of men out there that put in a lot of hard work, you know, just to provide for their family and everything. And someone's got to do it, man. Someone's got to build the road. Someone's got to build the building. Someone's got to like do the drywall. You know, this is a beautiful building here. Someone had to build it.
Exactly. You know, and I'm forever appreciative of them.
Yeah. So it's an art and a craft in itself. But again, everything's for someone. You know, someone can take that passion for drywall and start a drywall company.
Exactly.
Become a multimillionaire doing that, you know.
Exactly. And that's dope. There's good money in that too, for real.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's something for everybody, you know. Like my dad, he installs carpet and he has his own carpeting business, and you know, he's been doing it for 40 years, and he's an artist in his own ways, you know.
Oh, for real.
And you know, so that's awesome that, you know, you were able to try different things and realize what is for you. You know, so that's great, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really want to thank you for coming on the podcast.
Oh man, thank you for having me
and sharing your story.
This is dope. Like, this is really dope.
And your wisdom. And I definitely want to have you come back on at one point with some of your, you know, the people that you work with on your production team.
Oh yeah,
kind of
sure.
Because I know it's not just a one person thing.
No, yeah, I actually got an editor, my boy Sanders Production. He helps me with editing sometimes.
Yeah. And
he helps me with directing as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, he does my treatment sometimes, and he'll help me with edits. Sometimes he'll pull up to the shoot and like shoot with me, like on the bigger shoots. So yeah, shout out to my boy, man.
For sure,
give him a shout out for sure.
Yeah, so thanks again, man. So tell us where we can find you. You have an IG, right?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram at Shot by Tezz with 2 Z's at the end.
Awesome, man. So if you're an artist out there that's looking to get a music video shot and produced and edited by a professional videographer, make sure you guys hit up Tezz. He's really, really skilled at what he's does. Make sure you go follow him on his Instagram. Check out all of his work. And thank you again, brother. And we'll see you guys next time.